Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience Week 9 Rankings Update, Injury Report, Props, Underdog, plus DraftKings Values and Ownership. If you're looking for the cheat sheet, that comes out on Saturday evening, delivered directly to your inbox. If you are a sub to Mayo Media Network's newsletter, hit that in the description or just go to Substack, search Mayo Media. If you're looking for the updated rankings, they're updated as of this moment. And you can find those directly in the description to this video and podcast or up on 4for4.com. I will update them again on Sunday morning if that's what you're looking for. But I want to roll through this as quickly as possible to get you the information that you need to know. DeAndre Swift is out for the Chicago Bears against the Cincinnati Bengals. Kyle, hey, you Monte guys! Running back 10, Travis Homer is a PPR desperation play in a very high total game, assuming he's going to get 25 to 35% of the backfield work. Maybe he catches some passes. That's usually what he's good for. Wouldn't start him if you didn't have to, but if you do need someone, he is available in 100% of leagues. Isaiah Pacheco is out for the Kansas City Chiefs. Kareem Hunt in at number 14 in the running back rankings. Brashard Smith at number 27. So a low-end flex and a basic must-start for Kareem Hunt if you have him in. Hassan Haskins is out for the Chargers for the second straight week. Kamani Vidal at number 9 in the half-point PPR rankings. Jared Patterson at 38. But Patterson, I think, is a much better play for an anytime touchdown, or if you can find the right market for last touchdown in the game, Patterson, along with Chargers big spread, like alt spread. So like Chargers minus 14.5, Jared Patterson last touchdown. You probably don't need to boost it up that much. You can just go Patterson last touchdown because that kind of encompasses everything. But I haven't seen any numbers on it yet. They will not release those odds. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be like 25 to 1, 30 to 1. It makes sense in the flow of the game that if you do think they get up by a ton, then Patterson's going to be primarily handling the ball like he did against the Vikings last Thursday night, that if he ends up with 10 touches and they all come during garbage time, if he scores, it's probably the last touchdown of the game. So a worthy gamble is what I would say. Ramondre Stevenson is out for the New England Patriots with a toe injury. He might be out a while here. So I didn't really know what to do with this backfield because obviously Trevion Henderson should be the guy. I have him at number 21 in the rankings. Terrell Jennings is at number 38 in the rankings. If Jennings just played 70% of the snaps and Henderson just did what he normally did, wouldn't be super stunned because this is the Patriots backfield. But you have to believe that the draft capital, the talent, it's all there in a really good spot against a banged up Atlanta defense that Henderson can come through. I don't believe it as much to vault him inside the top 10, but 21, he's a low-end running back too. Start him if you got him. Alvin Kamara is leaning in. Amari DiMercato is expected in for Monday night. Ditto with Michael Carter. He's expected in too, and taking first-team reps. He was cut earlier this week to be signed by the practice squad to be moved up once again for the Cardinals. It's a three-headed backfield. It's looking like. I would still go Bam Knight, Michael Carter, then DiMercato, with Bam Knight being like running back 25, Carter 33, DiMercato 45. But against this Dallas defense in Dallas, any of them can score. So in a desperation play, if you're looking for all upside or you have to live with 0 points, these guys aren't bad. Barkley's on bye with his groin injury, just like Quinshon Judkins with his shoulder injury. Both are expected to play in week number 10, but yeah, we'll see when the early practice reports come out. Puka Nacua and Drake London both back in. Start both of those guys. Travis Hunter, as pointed out on the DraftKings show, as we were doing it live, has been placed on injured reserve. He is out for at least 4 games. Parker Washington's at 46, Dimey Brown at number 55 in the rankings. BTJ is obviously a top 20 play for the week if he can catch the ball. He's getting better after this wrist injury. Kept him out for a while. We'll see with Brenton Strange still sidelined on injured reserve that if Hunter Long ends up thrusting himself into a bigger role in this offense, because eventually they're just going to start running out of guys. There's only so many receiving options on Jacksonville. If Long can get himself going, then we're looking good. Marvin Mims is out with a concussion. You'd think that it would be Pat Bryant or Trent Sherfield who recouped a lot of those snaps. But after Mims left the game last week, it was actually Adam Troutman who got a boost in that circumstance. Now, Nate Atkins got injured, so that maybe had something to do with it. No idea how this is going to shake out as the deep play or receiver 3 in Denver, but they're playing the Texans, so you probably don't want to play them anyway. No big deal. Dontavian Wicks is out with a calf injury again for the Green Bay Packers. Dubs is probably the best start. None of them are great starts because it could go anywhere in that game. Calvin Ridley is out. DK, a.k.a. The Dyke, and Ayo Manor are both in the mid-40s for wide receiver rankings against the Chargers. Should be a ton of garbage time. Josh Palmer out for the Buffalo Bills. Terry McLaurin out on Sunday Night Football against Seattle for the Commanders. Chris Moore becomes a desperation play again as he is the 1v1 filling in for Terry McLaurin. Ricky Bullets, aka Ricky Purcell, is out with his knee injury. Kendrick Bourne remains the play with Ricky out. Obviously, you can start Juwan Jennings as well. Luther Burden is out for the Bears, just like DeAndre Swift is. Cooper Kupp is dealing with a hamstring and heel injury. He is questionable. Torrey Horton would work in those two wide receiver sets should Kupp be out or be limited, and that is what Seattle runs the majority of the time. You're still going to get the Arroyo and Barner sets, but Horton would just increase his snap share in a pretty good matchup against a banged up and bad secondary for the Washington Commanders on Sunday night, but we're going to have to wait to hear from that. You didn't want to play Kupp anyway, but in deeper leagues, Horton might end up being a decent play. Kirk and Nico Collins both back for the Houston Texans, so don't worry about the rest of the duds. Josh Downs is likely to play. I still like Pierce over Downs, but all three receivers on the Colts, top 50 options this week. Rashid Shaheed is leaning in. Cedric Tillman and his hamstring injury are estimated to return off injured reserve next week. So if someone did drop him, I mean, I don't know how good it's going to be with Dylan Gabriel playing quarterback, but Tillman had been the most successful of any of the Browns' receiving options, at least wide receiver designation so far this year. Ayuk could be back next week. We'll see. Heard that before. Tutu Atwell has been placed on injured reserve, so maybe a few more snaps for Jordan Whittington. We shall see. Brock Bowers is back for the Raiders at tight end. Pat Freiermuth has been taken off the injury report with his quad injury. He's playing. Cole Kmet is playing, so I dropped Loveland outside the top 15 at tight end. I had him up at number 11 in a glorious matchup. I'd rather play Noah Fant on the other side of the ball at this point. Dalton Schultz popped up late in the week with a knee and shoulder injury. He's expected to play, but keep an eye on it. And I don't know about Daniel Bellinger and his neck problem. You shouldn't care about that. I mean, for the sake of him, I hope his neck is okay. But for your fantasy team, you weren't playing Daniel Bellinger anyway, so no big deal. Kyler Murray on Monday Night Football is leaning out, and Jacoby Brissett is starting that game. Now, that doesn't mean that Kyler won't play or have a role. At least this is what they're saying. But Jacoby Brissett is starting against the Cowboys on Monday night. J.J. McCarthy is starting for the Minnesota Vikings. We'll see on that one. Joe Flacco and his shoulder problem don't seem like they're 100%, but it seems like he's trending towards playing. Downgrade everyone on the Bengals should Jake Browning end up under center somehow before the game. If it happens mid-game, then obviously you're not going to know that against the Bears, but Flacco should be starting, so pump the brakes a little bit, stop the heart rate. Jamar Chase is going to be fine. Hopefully Chase Brown continues to be good as well. Jaden Daniels expected to play on Sunday Night Football with his hamstring injury. Michael Penix in for the Atlanta Falcons. Brock Purdy out for the San Francisco 49ers. Mac Jones is starting, and Bryce Young shall make his return as a 13-point underdog against the Green Bay Packers. Of defensive notes, Trey Hendrickson's probably not going to play against the Bears, but Cole Holcomb and Chuck Clark for the Steelers both have an illness, and they're both already ruled out for Sunday. So I like the Colts even more in that game. Stay tuned for DraftKings, props, underdog, and a whole lot more, okay? For over a century, Johnnie Walker has shared its bold spirit with the game of golf. Now, crafted with Devereux Golf, Johnnie Walker introduces the Johnnie Walker Blue Label-inspired Sunday Golf Bag, elevating the game with sleek design, blue label hues, and refined gold accents. Celebrate your hole-in-one with a premium Sunday bag crafted by Devereux Golf. Submit proof of your achievement to johnniewalker.com/blue-in-1. Please drink responsibly. Let's jump over to coolbet.com to find the PME exclusive weekly boost if you're in Canada. Outside of Ontario, they've been giving away a bunch of money in terms of the Blue Jays World Series games. So if you're watching this before Saturday night, you might want to jump in on those. You can always find all of the boosted plays at the very top of the screen. But if you want the PME exclusives, which I would think you would want, down here on the left-hand side, you see the PME weekly boost. We have a 4-leg player prop parlay boosted up to 575, so 5.75 times your money. Alec Pierce, longest reception, 22 yards or more. He's hit that in 5 to 6 games. Roma Dunze, 24 yards or more on longest reception. Had both these in last week, and they both hit. De'Ami Brown filling in for Travis Hunter, at least seeing an uptick in a snap share. 15 yards receiving, that's all he needs. And Bijan Robinson over 4 or more receptions against the New England Patriots. New England has been excellent against the run, not so good against the pass for running backs out of the backfield. So I would expect to see, especially with Penix back in, a lot of Bijan out of the backfield in that game. You could even same game parlay Bijan over receptions, over rushing yardage, or receiving yardage, under rushing yardage. That's a way that you could do that as well. We'll jump over to Underdog, and I have a very similar one. I played it with boosters to move it up a little bit, and there was a 50% boost in the lobby, which I think there's a bunch of as of today, so you can try finding that one. I actually have a bunch of stuff in play right now, but Bijan Robinson, 5 or more receptions, higher. Alec Pierce, 30 yards or more for longest reception, and Diami Brown, 50 yards or more in the receiving game. That will pay you, especially after the boost, right around 13.5 to 1. The max is 50 if you use the 50% boost, but you should adjust the sliders a little bit to get those guys up. I'll probably have another one in the newsletter a little bit later on, or I'll tweet one out on Saturday morning, but I got some NHL stuff on the go. I got some college on the go. I got some NBA on the go. Sharp Stack has been so good for me NBA-wise. And on Thursday Night Football, I played Man vs. Machine on the Thursday night show, and the Sharp Stack went 6-0. I won basically everything, except for the one that I went 1-1 on, because Zay Flowers came up 5 yards short of his receiving total. That ain't no way to live. Here is an odd right now that if you do have Fanatics that you can jump on, Cam Ward over 5.5 rushing yards up at plus 145. This is only at Fanatics. So if we check the rest of the market over at Sharp Stack, you can see that over 4.5 is minus 110. And so you're getting 55 cents of value by betting it at Fanatics right now. I mean, you could probably just arb that, I'm guessing, depending on how much you can get down. Oh, geez, we got college football arbs if that's the way we want to go. So Cam Ward, rushing yards, yeah. You can go over 5.5 plus 145 or under 5.5 at minus 121. If your stake is $100, you bet 42 on one side, 57 on the other. Lock yourself in, $4.50 on profit. I'm going to set it to 100 because, frankly, a lot of these places will not allow you to get down a ton of money, but there's guaranteed money across the board here, depending on where you look. The Torrey Horton receptions is another one where certain books, like Bet Rivers, has the over of 2.5 receptions at plus 125, where the under in some spots is minus 105, like Hard Rock and BetMGM. Bet Rivers is the one that's hanging the best value out there. 4for4.com/Mayo will get you over to Sharp Stack. If you use code Mayo50, you get a free 7-day trial to try this out. And if you do like it and use code Mayo50, you get 50% off this tool, which has all of the sports, if that's what you're looking for. Like I said, I've been cleaning up with NBA. Let's see what NBA is doing tonight, just as a little bonus here to see what's going on. Oh, good value on Joe Flacco passing yards, under 255.5. Now, normally I would like the over on that, especially with Chase, but Flacco's not 100%. He can get hurt and just leave that game. It's one of the better values on the board. So between NBA and NFL tonight, so Ward, Flacco, and Javonte Williams under 2.5 receptions at plus 135. That's because it's in the plus. It's like Manungai under 2.5 receptions plus 110 is up there as well. Hollywood Brown under, but you have to have the right books in order to make this work, because we just saw the Cam Ward one is up there. BetMGM just seems to have a lot of value lines this week versus everyone else. Like Hollywood Brown under 20.5 receiving yards is minus 110. That's minus 120 at Hard Rock. It's 3 yards shorter at Profit X at Bet Rivers. It's 4 yards shorter at Bet ESPN and at DraftKings and at Bovada and at FanDuel. So there's a lot that you can go for the under and over for some of these props. The best number right now is at Bet MGM if that's what you're looking for. Like I said, 7-day trial, risk-free, code Mayo50, 4for4.com/Mayo. You can get in on it. Guessing that there's just not a lot of good NBA ones tonight. So I always try to go, actually there's a few, although some of them are juiced to the tits here. Colin Sexton's been like a printing press for unders so far, which is always terrifying when you have Charlotte on the board. But you go Colin Sexton under 4.5 assists. Someone named Ryan Kalbrenner under 10.5 points, and then Ronald Holland. That one hit the other night at 10.5 for points as well at minus 127. We'll see what that ends up going around. Cooper Flagg under 6.5 rebounds at plus 115 as well. No overs on these board, but I put out 3 of them so far in NBA. They're 3-0, so 9-0 in terms of underdog plays, but to play them individually, looking pretty good. I try to stick to anything that is above 5% EV and then put those together. If I see the board, there's nothing above 5, I don't play it. You don't have to either, so pick your poison with it. Oh, new one coming up right here. Brandon Podsmeyer, 3-pointers made, under 1.5 plus 166 at Profit X right now. So in real time, this will update for you. So I would just recommend that you go check it out. I think it's a great tool, and I've been doing awesome with it for every single sport except for NFL, because I keep letting my leans come in. I'll look at a few of the NFL ones and be like, nah, I don't like that at all. I don't want to use that. And then I fade it, and then I end up losing. So I believe for the year, it's like right around like 63% on props, and some of them are like plus money, some of them are big VIG money. It'll tell you the best EV for it, though, and how everything has changed over time. Highly recommend you get into SharpStack, 4for4.com/Mayo, code Mayo50 to get yourself that. And if you do use that with code Mayo50, you can use everything down the side there. You can also use all of the DFS projections as well, and all of the tools. Let's see how everything is rating out right now. You can see at the top of the board, John and I talked through this on the Friday show, but like everyone's using McCaffrey. Then you have James Cook, Josh Jacobs, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, and Jonathan Taylor all coming in at right around 10% ownership or less, because everyone is gravitating towards McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Puka, and then all of the value running backs this week, because there's a ton. Like Monangai just opens up the entire slate if that's the way that you want to go. We'll see 41% owned right now is the projection for Kyle Monangai at $4,600. McCaffrey's at 88, and the Monangai and Jamar Chase pairing is going to be so big. Obviously, they're going against each other in that game, so it's instant correlation that's already baked in. I didn't even look at what Jamar Chase's is. I'm going to guess it's super duper high at the same time. Yeah, Jamar Chase 31%, Monangai at 41%. Like Monangai allows you to own Jamar Chase at the number that he's at right now. So, it's the best GPP value on the board. He's 1% owned. The second best value is Christian McCaffrey in a pretty decent matchup against the Giants. Bad run defense for the Giants, 35%. The thing you would have to fade with McCaffrey is that he just doesn't get into the end zone. He did the last time that we saw him. Actually, no, not last week. He didn't against the Texans the week before. He ended up getting in twice, but touchdowns have not really been his thing, baby, so far this season. So if you did want to fade him to use any of those other guys, that's what I'm doing. I like Christian McCaffrey enough. I have a Jackson Dart team where I do have McCaffrey coming back the other way, but you could use Jonathan Taylor. Instead, obviously, you could go up, but just Bijan in the receiving game is looking good. And Gibbs lights up Minnesota. 5 touchdowns in his 2 games last year against the Vikings. We just saw what Kamani Vidal lit them up on the ground. I'm sure Gibbs can probably do the same. It's riskier, obviously, because he's splitting time with David Montgomery. He's not assuredly going to have 6 catches and almost 30 touches in a game against the Giants, as is Christian McCaffrey, but you might be able to get Gibbs at like 1/4 the ownership. We know his upside is just as high, so take that into consideration. The rest of the higher owned guys, you got Monangai, you got Christian McCaffrey, then everyone else is below 20%. Jalen Warren, who I do not like this week. It's not that I don't like him objectively. I think there are just better players, better options, better value, should I say, for a cheaper or slightly more amount of money. Like Kimani Vidal without Haskins is $6,300 at 14%. I think he's an awesome play this week. People will go to Trevion Henderson, as you can see, and Tyrone Tracy in that low $5,000 range, 17% and 15%. I would just play Kareem Hunt, who is $4,700. Like, you could get away with playing Monangai and Kareem Hunt in the same lineup. I don't think that's an awesome option because you're giving up a lot of value at the top of the board with so many of the good running backs and great spots. Like even someone like Kyron Williams is an awesome spot against the Saints this week as gigantic favorites. But I was able to play a Matt Stafford team, Stafford, Puka, and Devontae Adams. This is very similar to the one that I built out with John on the DraftKings show. If you want to see how we got through that with the visuals, just find that up on the YouTube channel right now. But if you put in Hunt and Monangai, you can like also afford Jamar Chase and like someone else who's awesome and an expensive running back. It's an interesting way to go about it. But as you can see, the GPP values at running back this week, and these ownerships will get updated again on Saturday evening and again on Sunday morning. My newsletter will have the best ownerships from Saturday evening if you're just looking to do that. Again, this is all a part of that SharpStack package, but the DFS package is just way cheaper if you only care about DFS. That 4for4.com/Mayo will get you your discount over there as well on a package that is just way cheaper than the SharpStack, which includes everything on the 4for4 site. Best values: Monangai, McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, and then Gibbs, then Vidal. Like that's the pocket that you want to be in. I would take the chance on Kareem Hunt, I listen, I don't think he's going to have 90% of the touches, but I think that he should dominate the goal line work over Brashard Smith in a very high total game. He is the cheap piece of that game if that's the way that you want to go. As mentioned already, Jamar Chase is going to be the highest owned wide receiver. After him, who the hell is it going to be? Puka, Rashee Rice, Amon-Ra, Ladd, Juwan Jennings getting some love from the optimizer, so that's boosting up a lot of what he's up to down below at $4,300. Couldn't remember how much Bourne was. Bourne's $5,000. So yeah, you get the cheaper option. Maybe not the better option, but you get the cheap option. Parker Washington comes in at $3,700 because the pricing was obviously set before that Travis Hunter went on injured reserve. Diami Brown is at $3,800. If you're looking for the best GPP values on the main slate, it's Jamar Chase by almost double what Amon-Ra is. So you got Amon-Ra, McConkey, DK, Puka. No big shocker. The good receivers are the good receivers. Who would have thunk? After that, though, Juwan Jennings does rate out really highly at $4,300. Parker Washington at $3,700. And then Diami Brown at $3,800. You also have DK, aka the Dyke Man, down at $3,900. Darius Slayton at $4,100. And then Josh Downs at $4,400. I so much prefer Alec Pierce over Josh Downs. Now, most of the time, Downs is going to outscore Alec Pierce, and Alec Pierce is $200 more as well. My thinking is just if you're going to get the big game from Alec Pierce, it's going to be like 35 DraftKings points, not 14, which is like the Josh Downs, 6 for 35 and a touchdown. It's like, oh, great. Thanks, man. You kind of paid off your $4,400. I'm looking to break the Slayton in a lot of ways. Like Slayton's another one of those guys that he's going to score like 2 points most of the time. But if he gets there, he's getting there bigly. So someone like Slayton and Pierce, I like more than someone like Josh Downs from that spot. We go to tight end to figure out who the best values are and who the most owned are going to be. The best values on the slate: Kraft, Kittle, Pitts, Bowers, then Laporta. Kincaid is coming in there as well at only 3% ownership. Another way that you can get cheap access to that game. When John and I did the walkthrough of Chiefs and Bills of how to build it out, it just becomes prohibitively expensive very quickly. And you still don't know where the ball is going. That's why I like the Rams. Listen, as long as you can fade Kyron touchdowns, which is usually pretty tough, but if you can get them through the air with Stafford, you basically know where the ball is going when Puka is back. Puka between the 20s, Devontae Adams in the end zone. Hopefully all of the touchdowns coalesce around that same line. But, if they don't, then I end up losing. That's okay. I lose most of the time anyway. But if that hits, that feels like a big spot that people just simply are not on. Tucker Kraft, Theo Johnson, Tyler Warren, George Kittle, Travis Kelce are your highest owned at tight end this week. Best values on the side for quarterbacks: Dart, Caleb Williams, and Mac Jones, all pretty cheap. Dart without Scadaboo, like whatever. The pass catchers are cheap. You can go Slayton with him. You can go Wandale with him. You can do him by himself. Yeah, listen, you can have a 3-way, a 2-way. You can just one-on-one, some missionary action with Jackson giving you the dart. But 13% ownership is what you're looking for him. Mahomes is coming in higher at 14%. Caleb Williams just below at 11%. Then you're into your Lawrence and Herbert. If you paired up Lawrence, you went Lawrence, Diami Brown, and Parker Washington. You probably shouldn't do that, or introduce Hunter Long into that mix as well. I don't even know what Hunter Long's value is this week. I ended up doing that with live just to see what I could get to. Hunter Long is a negative value this week, projected for 6.5 points. Hopefully we can get more out of him without Travis Hunter around. Maybe he's just simply running more routes, or maybe they ask him to block. Who knows? The better values, again, like bad values at quarterback. Let's see again. Drake May is a really good value. So is Trevor Lawrence. So is JJ McCarthy. No one's really using Drake May this week, so that might be a very nice spot. Even if you use him solo, it's always better to try to correlate it with someone. But if you just want to say, hey, I think Drake May lights up Atlanta, he'll do a little bit on the ground, almost like what people want Jackson Dart to do to the 49ers. Maybe Drake May can do that to the Falcons, who, again, as I've mentioned like 3 times on the show, pretty banged up on defense. So we'll see if Drake May has no problems moving the ball. If they get themselves healthy, so check their practice report on Sunday. If they can get themselves healthy, they should be pretty good in the game and shut everyone, not necessarily down, but they were really good through 5 weeks of the season defensively. The Lions, Chargers, Falcons, and Broncos, and Rams, the top 5 defenses right now. The Falcons, almost because optimizers are spitting them out, and they're only $2,500. I would try to play the Texans at $2,900 if I didn't have to go scumming all the way down. The Giants are $2,400. Of all of the low-end plays, you have the Falcons and Giants would be my 2, but the Giants only coming in at 5% ownership. Against Mac Jones, it's probably not a good play, but I think it's just, it's better than when you take a look at the alternatives, be it the Titans or the Saints and some of these teams you just absolutely do not want to play from the very bottom of the DraftKings pricing. But that will do it for me. That's everything you need to know about the NFL heading into Week 9. I'll have the updated injury report rankings and everything. The rankings are already updated, and they're free to see at 4for4.com. You can get the direct link down in the description right now. My newsletter comes out. It'll have all updated injuries, ownership, plays, whatever it might be. You get it for free at Mayo Media's newsletter. Join the mailing list. It's down in the description right now. Smash like, turn on the notifications on the way out. I'll be live streaming Red Zone with Cust on Sunday, then live with Cust and Garian right before Sunday Night Football, doing the thing that we love to do, Sunday Night Live, Cust Eats. It'll all be there, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!